Alright, so I'm now removing the throw-up bearing for the clutch brake. And the reason I'm doing that is because the clutch brake itself, which is this thing, and what this thing does is you're not supposed to press the clutch all the way down when you're shifting gears, just when you're changing gears from neutral to first gear and on a standstill. So then you press the clutch all the way down. And what this does is it pushes this thing against throw-up bearing, and then it's something splined to the shaft, to the input shaft, and it stops the input shaft from moving. So that allows you to put it in gear with no gear clash whatsoever. The gears, everything is just completely stopped. But you don't want to do that when it's actually moving, because you want the input shaft to be turning at the same speed so that you can put your gear in. If it's stopped, then you have a problem. And but when you're a new driver, you don't really not really good at that. But I mean, this has been on the truck for many miles. But what happened was, as you can see, this is worn out. And also I had to, actually the main problem wasn't that I pressed this at the wrong time. The main problem was I had to pressure load the clutch to get the clutch to move in high gear. And that really, I had to put the clutch in and out various times at the wrong times because it's what I had to do. And that's what happens. What I'm saying is, if you are a driver, then sometimes you don't put it in the right time. That's what happens. So as I just showed you, it actually broke off the rivet. And that breaking off the rivet, it actually didn't wear down all the way down, but that breaking off the rivet, probably because I had to pressure load the clutch. Speedometer part here. It actually caused the bearing itself, the face of this thing, to wear out as well. So as you can see, that's worn out. So, but it looks like it's just a plate, just this plate, that's riveted onto this cast iron part. So what I might do is I might just take this off and replace this plate here. It's like it's stainless steel. So I might just replace this plate here. There's even a little thing that fell on it. This might have actually been the problem, cause it to wear out. So what I'm doing is I had to remove that snap ring from the inside of this bearing and the outside of the inner shaft. I then used a pry bar behind, because there's a big spring on here. This will actually move back and forward. So I had to put something between it to prevent the spring from moving. And then I just used the outer diameter of this 1 5/8 socket. Fits right in there perfectly. And then I'm just hitting it with the sledgehammer. And so that's pushing it in while this stays out. So basically the bearing is coming off. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's working. And after it moves out more, I use something bigger, which in this case is this big adjustable wrench, and it's coming out nicely. And I'll show you what it looks like. That's what it looks like. I'll clean it up a bit and get the part number. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're just gonna replace this plate here, because I definitely have to replace this, because if I put a new clutch disc in, and just leave this, it'll wear out right away. Put a smooth surface against another smooth surface, won't wear out, but a smooth surface against a rough surface, one will wear the other out. And there's the big spring there. This is what it looks like off. So that big spring goes around here. This moves around like that, making it a lot more difficult to remove that snap ring if you don't have the right tools. I was just using the needle nose pliers and just pulling it out with one hand, with both hands, one leg to each side to get it to open. And then when I finally got it open, I held it with one hand and put a screwdriver in and the little space, and then worked my way around it. But it's a lot easier if you have the right tool. And when I do replace this, because the problem with that is you kind of damage it, you bend it, you do it that way. So I might, but I don't like that snap ring. I'll try to get the ones with little holes on it. Those are a lot easier to replace. And as you can see, they go on this groove here. That keeps the bearing in. And this thing, I think you'd have to pretty much disassemble the clutch in order to remove this, but we don't have to go there. Now let me see if I can. What's the inside of it look like? As you can see, there's like two clutches. Here's one, there's the other one. Barely see it. Yeah, everything here looks perfectly fine. So I'll clean this up and show you some dimensions and get some dimensions and part numbers. So on the back side of this thing, there's this little